new. In fact, a guy called Peter von Rittinger in 1830, did I put his name on there? No, I didn't. I've written it down somewhere. 1835 came up with the world's first heat pump to drain some salt marshes. So it's not a new concept. But let me try and, I've got several diagrams and I don't want to make them too difficult for you, but if everyone here's got a refrigerator, yes? Okay. So a heat pump is a refrigerator in reverse. So what you're doing at home is that you open the door and it's nice and cold in there, isn't it? Then if you go around the back of the fridge and put your hand on the back, it's hot. Yes? Yes? That's because the fridge is taking the cold air, making the fridge cold. It's done it by a compressor that sucks the liquid, pumps it through, and takes it out the back of the fridge. What this is doing is in reverse. So imagine this is the refrigerator's motor that you can hear chugging away. Imagine that the outside air in the garden is the inside of your refrigerator, and then the bit on the back of your refrigerator is inside your house. Are you with me? Good. The great thing about this process is for every kilowatt, every unit of energy that drives this compressor, some magic occurs, depending on the air temperature outside. You can get 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 7 times the energy that was taken to drive the compressor converted into heat. And that's the magic of the heat pump. And as I say, it's not new, they're improving still all the time, and there are different types. Now VAS has air to air, so this is the air outside, and it's heated up inside. This is going through another device here, but it's air. It's what we call air to air. So there are others, briefly. There are ground source to water. Ground source, some involve drilling holes down into the ground, some 30, 40 metres deep. And it takes the heat from the ground, and the same process occurs. Then there's water to water. Lloyds Bank in Bristol. Does anybody ever seen Lloyds Bank in Bristol? Harborside? Massive. Used to be Lloyds Bank headquarters. That has a heat pump, and that takes its source as the River Severn in Bristol. And that we did that when I was at SWEB, and that would have been back in 1988, 89. So water to water, air to air we've mentioned, and you can take the heat out of the ground. So they will replace gas boilers, as you know, that's the plan. As we move to electric heating and electric transport. And I hope I've given you a rough idea as to how all that will come about. Now, in terms of assistance with this at the moment, you can get £5,000 from the government if you are about to put in a new boiler and you think a heat pump would work for you. Now, one of you sent me in a question because you have a very old oil boiler. Is that person with us this evening? Good evening, sir. You asked the question, what should you do? There's no doubt a 35-year-old boiler, 35 years? How many? 20. It's going to be pretty inefficient. You're off the gas grid, and you would be someone who would get £5,000 towards it, depending on your radiators, because that's the problem, or the challenge, because the circulatory temperatures of heat pumps are not as high as the traditional gas or oil boiler. But the way you deal with that is to look at the radiator's capacities, if that's an option for you. They are increasing the temperature. There are some high temperature heat pumps, but the government subsidy is not going to go on forever for heat pumps. So my advice to you would be to seriously look at a heat pump. You'll have to look at your electricity supply as part of that, but I'll gladly talk to you a bit more later on about that.